This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm with the Cobra, Mr. Froch. Well, our last interview got a few people talking. Your comments on Calzaghe, Kessler, and obviously Roy.
Yeah, well, some serious questions were asked, and we were talking about the exhibition, the likelihood of an exhibition. So, you know, it's still in talks with potentially doing something. If we can put an event on or put a good show on with some old legends, then why not? You know, people are desperate to get out and have a bit of fun. So yeah, if I can be part of entertaining people, I'm happy to do it. So we'll wait and see what comes.
Any more calls since Dubai last week?
Since Dubai?
Yeah, from Dubai rather. Since
No. We're still sort of back and forth. We're still trying to negotiate who's going to do what and put a little strategic plan together. But yeah, nothing to report yet.
Okay. Well, Carl, obviously I spoke to you during fight week for Joshua Usyk. We haven't spoke to you on IFL since then, so I just want to get your reflections on a disappointing night for Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, very disappointing night. I mean, what he can take from the loss straight away is the fact that he lost to an amazing fighter. Proper, awkward, technical, probably one of the best southpaws I've ever seen.
Not an average one, then.
Operate, far from average. One of the best southpaw operators of all time. And there's been some good ones over the years. I mean, Prince Nassim Hamad was tricky and awkward and you know, doing what he did, but Usyk was brilliant in there. It's like a box of tricks, like a magician in that ring. He didn't have to do a great deal though. It was disappointing from AJ because he didn't stick it on him, did he? He didn't throw many shots, or maybe he did throw shots, didn't have much success. I just feel that his game plan that he executed was all wrong. What he was doing in there, because you say game plan, you start blaming the team around him, or the game plan was wrong. It's not his fault. You know, what he did in the ring wasn't good enough. You wouldn't look at that fight and say that Usyk beat the best Anthony Joshua. You wouldn't say, oh, that was the best performance that AJ could have put in, and he still got beat. What you'd say is he underperformed for whatever reason, whether it's down to, or whatever the reason is. It could be lots of different reasons, but none of it it's irrelevant after the fight. It's too late to talk about excuses. But yeah, bad performance from AJ, top performance from a top fighter in Usyk. But his first real fight up at heavyweight, I know he'd had two. He'd had that one with Chisora, but against a proper big, strong heavyweight like Anthony Joshua, who puts combination punches together well and who's strong and can do the business and usually does the business. He's climbed off the floor to do the business, hasn't he, against Klitschko. I would have expected more. It would have been nice to see him stick it on Usyk, get in front of him. You know, not just carelessly, but you know, apply the pressure with his feet, put combinations together, target the body like he did in the mid-rounds, start to get some success. Usyk's face was all marked up, so he was having some success. It would have been nice to see more of it a bit earlier on, and then to finish strong. But actually, it was Usyk that finished strong, and Usyk that took the game plan away from him and dominated, and ultimately beat him up because that's what he did in the end. So yeah, disappointing loss for AJ. I think he can come back, but it's a bad one to swallow, and it's a tough one to prepare for in the rematch. Like, how does he change? What does he do? And I know I said he's underperformed, but maybe he was trying to put shots together, maybe he was trying to be aggressive, and he was just shut out because Usyk was that clever and that good.
Just out of interest, have you spoke to Rob McCracken since the fight?
I spoke to him, yeah, and you know, Rob's very kind of matter of fact with the stuff he says, and you know, he just said, look, it's one of them things. It's boxing. You can fight somebody that you beat 10 times out of 10, or 9 times out of 10. And on the night, that one loss is all you remembered for. You lost the fight. So he just said, we'll come again and we'll win the rematch. He's confident that AJ will win the rematch. So that's pretty much no excuses at all. No problems. Just disappointment, really.
Were you disappointed or surprised that after a few rounds, AJ didn't switch up the tactics of the game plan?
Yeah, very. I was sitting there ringside, like commentating for BBC 5 Live, and I was I couldn't believe what was happening. I thought he'll get 2 or 3 rounds out of the way, maybe, find his feet, get a bit confident, work his way into it. He's in against a very good operator, a very tricky operator. But he should have jabbed the shoulder and tried to start to evolve his combination punches, or just try to at least land the single right hand downstairs or off the shoulder. And then with that, then he can build on it. Start getting the jab going, start getting the single right hand, you start to get a little bit close to your opponent, then he can start putting shots together, 3 or 4 shots, even around the body, or even if he's not hitting him properly, just get him around the side of the head and push him over, lean on him, and try and ragdoll him a little bit and make it rough. But he seemed to opt to just try and box and outbox Usyk, tried to box the technical boxer, a superior southpaw technical boxer. You don't take him on at his own game and try and box with him and beat him on points. Albeit was it close, 115, 130 on one of the judges, but no, it wasn't close, was it? It was a wide beating, it was. Wrong tactics, or he did the wrong things, and it's disappointing, very disappointing, to answer your question, yes.
Okay. Just the last one on this. I spoke to Bob Arum and Frank Warren recently, and they said if Tyson beats Wilder next Saturday, they are open to making the undisputed fight with Alexander Usyk.
If Tyson beats Wilder,
they want to do Usyk. Then say to Joshua in a contract, you take some time off, have a comeback fight, and then you get a guaranteed shot at the winner of Fury Usyk. Does that make sense for Joshua?
Well, I'm not so sure. Between the three of them now, I mean, Usyk's number 2 now, and Fury for me is number 1. He has been for a while, and I'm not disrespecting or discrediting Deontay Wilder at all, because Wilder's got that big punch, and if you stuck Wilder in with AJ, you'd have to say, hang on a minute, who wins that one? I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion, is it? And Wilder against Usyk, even if Wilder lands the shot, but I just think that Usyk's probably above Wilder. He's certainly above AJ at the minute, but I don't think he's good enough to beat AJ. I don't think.
Who?
Usyk. Sorry, Fury. I've got all these 4 names buzzing around my head. I don't think Usyk's good enough to beat Fury.
Okay.
Well, he's good enough.
No,
I don't think he's big enough.
Doesn't that make a whole solution? So what they're saying is, we do the undisputed fight with Alexander Usyk. Bob and Frank have said that. Yeah. And then we beat Usyk.
All right. Sorry. Yeah.
And then Joshua gets the winner, and then that way Joshua doesn't have to fight Usyk in a rematch.
I think I missed the script. So yeah.
Does that make sense?
I've got all 4. Well, that's provided that they think that Fury beats Usyk, which I've just said he does. And I guess rid of Usyk. But the fans are going to be like, hang on a minute, you lost to Usyk. We as fans, we don't care that Fury just beat Usyk and now you're going to fight Fury. We want to see that match avenged. Otherwise, we're not buying it. That won't work. I don't think that'll buy. I don't think the fans will buy that. Okay. I think they'll look at that and say, no, we want the rematch. And I think AJ's going to want the rematch immediately made with Usyk, because it's all the belts. Bar the WBC, it's all the belts. Why would you not? You've got to take that fight. He's got to. He took the Ruiz fight straight away after that bad beating, because that was quite a bad loss, that was. And fair play to AJ, he jumped in there, and all right, he boxed and moved and did what he had to do to win, but he still did it. He still got in there. So he's brave. He'll fight anybody. Look at his resume. Look at his back-to-back World Championship fights. So I think what will happen is he'll jump in with Usyk again, and will he get the job done or not remains to be seen.
Honestly, do you think he does it, or how much of a chance you give him?
Well, AJ can certainly win the Usyk fight. He's definitely got the attributes physically and mentally, because he's tough and he believes in himself. But after that first fight, bloody hell, would you say he jumps in with a rematch and wins the rematch? I don't think you would. You wouldn't look at that fight and say, yeah, he'll win the rematch, but you'd still say, I can see how he can win it, because he didn't put a good performance in. If AJ turns up and puts a good performance on against Usyk, puts his shots together, backs him up, gets his guard up if he has to, gets his chin behind his shoulder and gets on the chest of Usyk, pushes him back and shoves that right uppercut around the body and pushes him around a bit, leans on him, then of course he can beat Usyk, but he's got to do it. And Usyk's going to be better and stronger, a bit braver, and he'll be more confident now going into that one. And the finish in round 12, I mean, that was a bad combination that AJ was on the end of, and he looked like he was out on his feet, ready to be stopped. And he'll know that when he goes into the rematch. He'll think, bloody hell, could he have done that when he wanted? Could he have done that in round 8 or 9? Because Usyk would have been thinking to himself, he's still a human being, although he looks like a monster and he mentally so tough, and he walks to the ring like some Russian warlord. I know he's Ukrainian, but that's what he was. He was a Russian warlord that night. He'd have still been thinking to himself, well, I'm not stupid. I know this guy's twice the size of me, big and stronger, and if he hits him on the chin, it's probably going to hurt. But now when he gets in with a rematch, he's going to get in there with that air of confidence. You know, George Groves said it, didn't he? He said, I went in before believing, but now we're going knowing. So he now knows he can do it. So,
do you think Joshua will have doubts
100%. It's a human being. Of course he'll have doubts.
Carl Froch, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow night where you're on comms with George Groves.
Is he on there, is he?
Yeah, you and George are doing a punditry together.
Can't wait. Thanks for telling me that.